Alright, so welcome to the second video. In this one, I'll just walk you through setting up a static web page with GitHub, because that's what I just did. In fact, I even recorded the original video, but with a pretty bad audio. So now I'm not gonna repeat building the website itself, because that's more or less a trivial task for most of you, but I'll just show you how it's set up and how you can quickly make something up and running without even paying. So the whole idea is to have a simple landing page that we can present, and then we can jump into the applications and the whole platform UI later. As you know, one of my main goals here is to actually have the whole platform being easy to tear down and spin up at any time. Of course, we'll have a few components that will have to be persistent, like the data storage file system, but that's not that expensive compared to having the cluster running all the time. So one of the components that have to be persistent, of course, it's this landing page. That will point us to our cluster when it's running, but it looks like this is really the first component that has to be implemented. It is luckily, like I said, pretty simple and trivial, but anyway, I'll just go through it. So when I had my Code Cloud session, I reminisced a little bit about using different static web page builder like Hugo, and there was another pretty famous one with React and so on. But right now we don't actually need to do that anymore. And the reason is that we actually have a pretty powerful AI assistant that it can render the website directly if it's very simple. We don't have to, and it can update it, of course, a lot faster than we have previously done manually. So I'm not really seeing the point for a lot of such static website generators anymore. You can see that I'm aiming for a little bit for a Black Sea look here. I like the logo quite a lot. I don't remember which one I used. I think it was generated by ChatGPT, if I'm not mistaken. Now, of course, I had to guide the agent a little bit to choose a certain set of colors and kind of design guide and so on. He did a pretty good job of completing everything, but you can see that I want to have it a bit simple. So basically, that's the reason that there is more or less white on black. I don't want to create like a light theme because I don't think it's necessary for this one. And for some color accent, I just used amber or gold, in fact. So it's also another association, being pretty ancient region. But that's it for now, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to integrate this into the UI later on. But we have anyway to build a lot of other stuff before we arrive at any kind of UI. Maybe I should put a disclaimer that this is currently under development. So if we go into the source code, you see that it's nothing particularly special. It's just a simple HTML page with some styling, you can see. And most of the work was actually developing the actual logos, which I changed a few times. But I'm right now quite happy, and yeah, maybe I can tweak it in the future, but right now I don't think it makes any sense to invest more time into that. So one important thing you can see is, since we are hosting on GitHub, we should create a CNAME file, and more specifically Githubpages, not just GitHub. we have to put our custom domain inside that file, and also we have to configure our domain to direct to GitHub, or more specifically to the GitHub DNS servers. There are 4 different IPs for redundancy, so I'll just show you how it is currently set up right now. Since we have reserved this domain for the website and for the whole platform, we simply can change the A records to point to the GitHub servers. You can see that they're even contiguous, so we just need to add it into the record, to the A record type, and then if we ping our domain, it redirects. You should probably do this first, because the IPs are not going to be different for your website if you do something like that. Or maybe you're not interested in this part at all, I don't know, but in general it will be all the same. What, however, it's a little bit different is that if you also want to use www, you have to put a CNAME record for that and put this kind of destination string, which is basically your GitHub username.github.io. You can see that I actually have also other stuff already configured, because like I said, so I already jumped ahead and created the basic infrastructure as well. So for the app itself, that you can see that it's not the GitHub IP address anymore, because that's the actual IP address that we're going to use. It's a fixed IP that I got from my cloud provider, and this is something that we'll probably later test when we do a simple migration test. But I'm not going to explain this further here. This is for the future video, actually. So, since there is some time required for DNS to propagate, it might be smarter to actually enter them immediately instead of waiting. In this way, all the different checks will get much faster and you don't have to wait. So I'm going to go now into GitHub and just show you how this is set up. So first, you have to create a simple repository. In our case, it's public, but it doesn't have to be, I think, although I'm not quite sure here. So once you are inside that repository, you go here to Settings, and here we have the GitHub Pages section. You can see here that you can choose many different ways how to deploy the website. For instance, for another application that I have also here, maybe just let me go here and show you. I did not really configure directly the static pages because it's not a static application. It is actually, it contains JavaScript that has to be compiled. And for this reason, in contrast to a simple static web page, here I got a GitHub action actually that basically runs the npm build command for us. Okay, but back to this one. This is dedicated for the simple static website, so we can just use the main branch to be displayed. Yeah, Jekyll is another of these static website generators I was talking about. There are a few more which are pretty popular, or were. One important thing to consider is that once we have our domain set up properly, there will be some time to be checked. And of course, if you have not done anything yet, it will be wrong, so you have to do it again. After some time, once it is confirmed, you have the option to enforce HTTPS, which I think nowadays, I mean, it should be really mandatory for any kind of system. So this one could take a little bit more time until it's activated. And in the end, of course, you will just see your website on your domain, or alternatively, You can also see it on a subdomain provided by GitHub until you set up your own custom domain. One thing which tripped me here a little bit, but that's actually, I'm not sure if I need to show it. It's more for newbies, but of course I'm setting up my SSH key to this repository. The problem I had is that I also have it in another account because I keep it on my working machine, on my developer machine here. And if we do that, you cannot use it in another account. So it gets detected for the whole GitHub system, and if another account contains your public key, it's not going to be possible to add it here. So I had to generate an extra SSH key and register it. I find this a little bit annoying, but I mean, it's also not such a big effort to do it. And then, of course, you just clone the repo and you can edit whatever. So I'm not going to do much more for this project right now until we get something going. So edits will be more or less few and far between, and until we really get going, I'm not going to branch off into other branches and features and whatnot. I mean, I already have everything I need, so later on we can continue with this. So I would say that's most I can tell about this part of the setup. So I would say start your AI assistant and get coding.